Well, happy holidays. Feliz Navidad, however it is you celebrate this time. Welcome everybody. It is so good to see everyone. We are excited to see you, and we're glad to be here because I gotta tell you what, personally, between surgery and then contracting this nasty virus. It just sucks. But anyway, I am back and Trina's here. Jenny's here. She's shutting things
Yeah.
down. And we just want to say happy holidays. It is
Yeah.
holidays. We Americans don't know how to relax. And so it's good that, ladies, is that we have a week at least where people are taking holidays. So we hope you're having a good one. However you
Yeah.
celebrate this, family, friends, if you believe, don't believe, doesn't matter. We're
No.
here. We have love. We're feeling the love. We generate the love, and we are excited that, well, I'm honored to have all of you tuning in, turning on, and thank you. So we just speak favor over you, peace. We just speak that peace that surpasses understanding. May it mount guard over your mind, your body, your home, and may you have a wonderful, peaceful time. And we like to finish that up by saying nothing missing, nothing broken. So, hello, ladies. How are y'all? It's been a couple of weeks since I have last met with all of you. We got together. So how are y'all doing?
Good.
You,
Busy
yeah.
work, holidays. Life is
And,
crazy.
and Trina's saying this, and she has like 101 temperature. I
Yeah.
went through it over the weekend with this. It's the influenza A, by the way, that's going around. And so it kicked my ass because I had like, reached 103 temperature. So it sucks, I can tell you, sweetie. So we just speak healing over you, and it's good to
Yeah. My
see you.
nieces and nephews were 105.
That's dangerous. That's when you have to take them to that's when it gets real dangerous.
We got a house full of nurses, so it was kind of okay. But yeah.
Yeah, my wife's a nurse too, and she's the one that brought it in. So
Yes, yes, yes. That's
I
what I
ain't
mean. They're like,
buying that
we know the
quite.
protocol.
Tell me about nurses. Now, I love nurses. I married one, and
And I got a doctor too. My one of my
yeah,
nieces, she is literally just graduated from medical school and she's in
good,
Ireland. Yeah.
good.
She's doing
Well,
emergency room surgery.
wow. So,
Yeah, she likes it.
well, and I see everyone in the chat room. We love you all. Thank all of you. Thank
Yes.
you.
Much love.
Wow. Jenny, how are you, dear?
I'm okay. I'm so sorry if we've both been poorly, but does it come with a cough? Because that's been over here. I'm sure that's what started off Rosie's thing when she had to go into hospital. She came out with this horrendous coopy cough, and then Theo's gotten it. Really high temperature, bad cough. I've managed to skirt past it, but I've been drinking teas every hour on the hour while Rosie's been going in and out of hospital because it's rife over here. It's
Yeah.
really bad. Does yours have a cough?
Yeah, I mean, Lynn, she was right on that cusp of actually full-blown pneumonia. So there is this cough and this heavy congestion that is with it as well. In fact, I got a
Yes,
little this the minor part of it now. It's leaving, but yeah, sucks.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm scared of it all, but sort of helping and catering for everybody else that's got it. And it's really nasty.
It
Hats off to
is.
you, Trina, in here right now.
I'm doing really good, but my clients were at the coffin and they were all at the tail end of it. So I thought it was past, the part where it could get me. But yeah, my
Yes.
daughter's been coughing and yeah, I'm doing really good with it though, and I'm gonna make it even better today. That's the
Well,
plan.
I had to take
Stay
Lynn
with
to
it.
the emergency room on Sunday, and 5 hour wait to get in. I mean, and so while I'm sitting there, out of the dozens of people that were walking through the door, every one of them had this flu. Every one of them. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's just crazy. So everyone out in the chat room, just take care of yourselves. Love is the key, and love does do a lot of healing. And but if you're feeling the blues on there, well, we're gonna lift you up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
so what have y'all been up to? I mean, my story is, surgery went well, that was a fun experience. Always is something when you can feel them, you're sitting there and they just do a local, and
Mhm.
so I'm sitting there, and I'm just kind of going over my head and things. And so he says, well, I am going to start this. And so you can immediately feel that knife as it cuts into your flesh. And then you're feeling them, messing around with all the tendons, what have you. And I'm thinking to myself, isn't it odd how we're so external? We say always to go within, but we really don't know what that means. And none of us can see inside our body.
Mm. Mm. I can. Sometimes,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I can. Sometimes I can tune in and see things in the body, that's fun. But yes,
I,
most people can't. Yes. Well, I
yeah.
think we all can, but we forget, Wayne, because like I really do. I think we had an intimate awareness of our body when we were children because we were trying to understand what it could do and how to work it. Yeah. So I think we were
Yeah,
more connected. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Thank you, Ginger. Ginger went through, got your email. Folks, I haven't been able to type, so I've read the
Yeah.
emails,
I
but
was wondering that. I was like, I don't think Wayne's going to be able to type for a
no,
little
man. I
while.
mean, I'd be doing this number.
Right? Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's
Get 'em
about what I
going.
do. So,
You
finally, you
know,
can understand my frustration.
have the old typewriter, boom, boom, boom. But
Yeah.
yeah. And and Ginger really she had hers on here where this one was, yeah.
Ooh, ooh,
So
ugh.
so what else is happening, ladies? Jenny, we haven't heard from you. I know y'all didn't get together last week, but
We tried with the first link, but it wasn't linking. And then the Saturday, Rosie had been taken into hospital on the
I was
Friday. Um,
wondering. I felt
that's what we
something
were
was,
talking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
I felt something was wrong. I was like, something's not right. Yeah,
the really wrong.
I
The
told
GP,
Wayne.
general practitioner. I knew you would know, but the internet in the hospital where we were, going between the CT scan and the MRI scan and the different various, X-ray machines, I suppose. It was just the signal was just out there because it's right in the depths of the hospital, and all of a sudden there was, so you were sitting there waiting without being able to even catch up on things because it was just like a dead zone. So yeah, we didn't get together. I knew Trina was hooking in with me on that day anyway, sending healing on the Friday. Um, and so she's much better, still in recovery and still
Is she in the
in
hospital still or is she out?
oh, she's allowed home. She's allowed home
Good,
now.
good, good, good.
She was for a little while. She's got to be under observation, and we'll see how things progress going forward. But obviously, it's her personal information, so I can't. She's such a personal girl. But she just takes it like a trooper. But what an experience we had in the hospital where women are really underrated in the healthcare system, whether it be nurses like Lynn, with the pay scale against the more male jobs in the healthcare, Western healthcare. We watched various males that we would wish that type of care for them. We weren't wishing that they didn't have that type of care. But the two females, both Rosie and another lady, hardly got attended to, didn't get asked about their pain levels as much. We witnessed, it was like watching, when you go into spirit and you watch from the outside, through a membrane almost. It was like we really didn't exist. This lady on her own and me and Rosie, two ladies together. And we watched them be asked every hour on the hour how they were feeling, what they were. And actually, I looked it up, there's so many papers written on it that still to this day, even though we have a really great veneer over it, that men are much more likely to get surgery in time when they do make a complaint. They're much more likely to be attended to differently, medication-wise even. So it's really interesting. It was as crazy and weird an experience as a trip that I've had before. It was so like, wow, is this happening? Like I
You know
know.
what I keep seeing and hearing? It's because you weren't sitting in the same timeline. Your frequency is so different from that environment. They couldn't see you like
It was weird.
consciously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so.
It's,
There was one nurse, sorry, there was one nurse who really saw Rosie. You're right, she saw Rosie, and you could
yeah.
hear her sort of
Yeah.
saying, "Can that CT be done now? Can that CT be done now?" But she was really fighting against this tide of, like you say, as if she was shouting into
Yeah.
the wind, not to her colleagues. Um, it was very, very strange and
You know,
very. It was almost
if
test
you're
study.
aware of that again, Jenny, literally the song that's coming in my head, they're like calling all you angels. Bring in the support that matches your vibration so you'll be seen and you'll be heard,
Well,
and they'll alter it for you. So because I'm literally seeing your frequency was so high, they
yeah.
couldn't like see you.
Well, that would make sense because I was obviously interceding with hand in
Mhm.
hand, obviously the whole time. From the moment the GP said to her, right, you need to go into hospital ward, such and such, get there now. Um, I was interceding from that moment. So you've picked up on that fully. And it was right now, there's still more tests to be done. There's still more precautions to be taken until we see where we're at. But right now, there is no explanation for the stopping of the life-threatening event that was happening. They don't know the source of it yet. That's how much they haven't fixed it themselves. And we are really just sitting in this peace that surpasses all inner standing and understanding of we've healed it then. And that's sometimes difficult to do but she's recovering really well and the same symptoms haven't recurred so far. And I'm going to say that they're not going to recur because so I do think we sat there waiting in our own bubble, literally healing and backfiring off each other and creating that healing zone. Because there's no other explanation. They haven't got an explanation yet. There was a lot of blood where it shouldn't have been on the scans. That was there. There was no mistaking of that, and the now is not. But they don't know where the source is from, and it hasn't reoccurred since. And we're sort of past that dangerous stage now of where if it was going to reoccur, it probably would have by now for where it was at when she got rushed in. So a real winter season gift, a weird experience, but actually I'm not doing anything but giving out gratitude for it because she's truly healed, from an
Mhm.
event that could have gone very nasty, truly healed. So stand in that agreement.
As you said, it is, in fact,
Agreed.
the winter solstice was Saturday, I believe. And
Yes.
so, we're now into this time of year, as us humans. It's that, the earth up here in the northern hemisphere is asleep, and we're going to be awakening to, the newness of life coming spring. So, um, how do y'all celebrate? Do you celebrate the season? I mean, we don't in our house. We don't decorate in the house. There was a time when Lynn used to really get into it, but
Mhm.
um, I guess you could really say that we now approach this is that there is a cycle to life, and life in itself has cycles, and we're enjoying it. We get to see so much of the wildlife, and it's this time of quietness, peace. Um, and I have to say, since we got outside the tradition of celebrating the materialism of of Christmas, that we find that sharing the meal and just being able to be with family is the most precious gift any of us could give to one another. So curious, Jenny, how do you celebrate solstice? Do you celebrate Saturnalia, or how do you?
So we celebrate solstice every solstice. We celebrate the season. New Year isn't really New Year for us. It's more when the spring is coming and things are
Hmm.
coming to life. That's the New Year. So there's not even the sharp exit from Christmas to New Year for us. So there's not that panic feeling. So today there's been a lot of running around because it's one time that the family all get off work. So it's
Yeah.
really special that we can sit down for the full weekend or the full 3 days and just eat and be and have fires and, sing or, just the collection of being together. And we used to have in the big extended Christian family every Christmas for the whole of me growing up and more, we had about 30 to 50 people on rotation at Christmas dinner at Granny's and Granda's house. And it was a big thing because obviously it was the church and but
Mhm.
but my mum always gave us solstice. So she always started around the 19th, 21st. And so now that we've exited that extended family and the extended church, it's so relaxed to be with. And when you're looking at the marketing around Christmas, it's so dark. The magic is so strong. It has people buying things they would never buy, and stressing about it so much when they could, outside of that marketing, outside of that magic, they could really enjoy it, and enjoy receiving and giving and being. And so, yeah, we'll
Mhm.
be eating lots of food tomorrow. We'll have comfortable clothes on with elastic
Mhm.
waists. So that it can go up and down. We'll have music on. We'll probably fall asleep real early. The boys have got some presents to open. We've all got a couple of presents each to open. And that's a happy medium for us, with the pressure at school, and our faith, our grounding in the season. So it's a happy medium that the boys don't feel too outside of it, but they
Yeah.
totally get it. Theo's my first child that he's never believed in Santa. He just hasn't. Even when we've tried to be careful around him about it, with Will being older, uh, he's just never gotten into that vibe. It's like he doesn't
Mhm.
feel that. But he feels the forest changing. He feels that season thing. So it's a real development now, family actually, like
Yeah.
evolving back to where we were before the church. So yeah, food.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I think that's the way the holiday should be, is with family, and it is with food. I mean, it's
Mhm.
food is, the breaking of bread and the sharing of where you do have that peace and love. Just that's wonderful, Jenny.
Mhm.
Thank
Trina,
you.
what's it like for you and your household?
It's traditional, in the aspect that they follow the traditions, but like I said, my family's never been a huge go to church Sunday family. So
Hmm.
we've never had any of that, where there was rules or you have to do this way. It was just love God, be a good person. Yay, it's Christmas. And when we were younger, it was more commercialized. But as we've gotten older, our family shifted away from that quite a while ago. I'd say about 10 years ago. So, now
Nice.
we buy gifts for the babies, the
The little ones, yeah.
grandbabies.
Yeah.
Yeah, the great
Yeah.
nieces and nephews. And then, the bigger kids, there's only two of them now. So, we just do something small for them. But other than that, there's really no gift exchanging. It's about bringing food, bringing, the wine, bringing the bread and getting together and just hanging out as a family. Like you said, it's pajama days a lot, comfy
Yeah.
clothes. We put food in a crock pot so you can just get up and eat what you want when you want. Everything's relaxed, enjoyable, and a lot more fun. When you take all that pressure out of it, wow, you really get to experience the magic of these holidays.
See, that
It's the
word's come up
fun.
twice. You've used it, and Jenny, and we were talking about, Lynn and I, the way the world tries to manufacture this through materialism is that they try to invent magic. that
Yeah.
somehow magic comes because of a gift, or you go in debt because you for the gifts and you get the stress. That's not magic, that's compulsion. But the magic in what y'all described and what we see is that it's the magic that we create through just being grateful for one another. You know,
Yes.
that's the magic. It's
Yes.
not about a hybrid alien being born in a manger or any of this. It's actually the renewal of hope. Well, it's true. I mean, I don't know what we would call. I don't want to offend anyone, but you know, I could always remember as a kid, I never fully got how this baby in the manger was, human.
Yeah.
I just and as I've gotten to be
Mm.
an older child, my youth is still there. I'm just experiencing a different type of youth, and I look back and I'm going, as a kid, I had it right. It was an alien. So anyway, but and it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I think we are aliens too. I think this is just a process of genetics and manipulation and DNA manipulation that's been happening for longer than we can comprehend. As Wayne, you were going to discuss our potentials for the other planet being the red planet.
Yes,
So,
yes,
it's all connected, and that might be one of our original strands that was still more active in our DNA. That's why the miracles were so easy, and all these different things that people can do when they activate their sleeping potentials. So,
yeah.
yeah, I think that's what all the wake up stuff is, but they turn it away from what that truly means. It's nothing that you receive or gain. It's already inside. It's just a matter of waking it up and remembering.
Yeah.
That's the
You know,
threat.
you had
What's that?
Yeah.
hand.
What,
You know
Jenny?
when you said about the surgeon doing your hand,
Mm-hmm.
I I went into an immediate thought of how similar that is to an experience, again, a trippy experience, a bit like we had at the hospital, but obviously much more different for you, much more involved. Of how people speak a lot about experimentation that's been done on them via alien species, or they have had experiences of this kind of thing, even almost having operations on their consciousness, their bodies never leaving their homes necessarily. And when you think about the technology and the skill sets that
Head
can be
north on
passed
Wanstead
down.
Avenue towards Julie Road, then turn right onto Julie
Sorry,
Road.
my maps has just switched on its own.
I
That's
heard that.
okay. And
It's
just
like,
let you know something. We're sitting in our living room, and I'm sitting there in the chair. Lynn's reading, I'm reading. All of a
Sorry,
sudden, my iPhone starts talking in this
that's
strange, freaking voice. And daughter Shannon was sitting over there, and she jumps. And yeah, so I mean, I don't know
that's me.
what was going on, and it was speaking a language that none of it, this went on for like 40 seconds.
Yeah,
wow.
my phone's on silent. My phone's on silent. It
So that's
shouldn't
what my
make any.
mind was too, and it was on mute.
That made
Wow.
me jump. It made me jump. I can see how it made
It,
you
it made me
jump.
jump because it immediately triggered in me the thing because we all looked at each other because the house was real quiet, and all of a sudden my phone goes and starts talking in tongues, you know.
So
Never
I
had my
don't
Oh
think
phone
my.
that
talk in tongues before. Get thee
You know what
behind me,
happened?
Satan.
I had something strange
behind me.
happen. I had
What?
something strange happen this week too. I have a glass of my toe stones for my rocks that I use for body work, and it's heavy. It's very heavy. It's filled with stones. And that glass flew off the shelf and broke all over the room, and the rocks were scattered all over the room. It was very odd. The energies are definitely very powerful right now.
Very. You let me know about that, yeah. And something happened at our house. It just, there's been crazy activities, a little bit like the house I lived in that was very active, almost poltergeist-like active. And it's not, it's just the energy. I think it's the frequencies mostly that we're walking around with. That the auric field is very magnetized at the minute in some people. And we're disturbing things for much further out of our like sort of field of arm, but energetic length is sometimes really increasing in not volatility, just in expanse. And I do think we're knocking things over a bit like a toddler does when it's learning
You
to
know,
walk. It doesn't know itself yet.
I had a dream this week. Well, you just made me remember this dream. I had a dream and I was in my old childhood home and we had a basement and I was down in the basement and I felt a spirit like grab a hold of my spiritual, physical, my whole body. And they were trying to lift me up and my physical body got stuck on the floor, because I was in the basement. And then I was laughing at it. I was like, well, you can't take the physical body too, dum dum, And I was just like, what are you going to do now? And I was like, Phoom, and I put myself back on the floor and then I woke up. But it's almost like, and then I was hearing almost every night after that, turn your routers off at night. Something's
Yeah,
something's going on. Something's going on.
that's important. Well, can I tell you, just after you've said that, talking about AI consciousness and stuff, this story that I read, and this is why the boys have been begging for a VR headset since they first came out. You know, those
Hmm.
things, the game
Yeah.
things that go over of course, it's a bold no, not when your eyes are developing and the addictiveness of them to have them right on your eyes like that. You can do one, boys, quite frankly, and plus for years ago, Trina, I put out saying they're building another layer, another realm
Matrix.
with
Yes.
AI, the VR, and it will become real as this, and it is for people. But there was a story, and it's gone quiet on it since, where they were using these VR headsets to test trial, giving prisoners 30 years worth of being locked up, being able to feel what their victims felt, being able to feel the sorrow that they caused within 3 minutes
I saw
of
that.
wearing a VR headset.
Yep.
So they were able to speed up time, literally time jump 30 years without ever having the person aged at all. And of course, the first testing subject that they're doing on this is torture, basically, because some people are sent down who are innocent and what is innocent and why should these be the arbitrators? But I digress. They can do this. It's working. The people, so if it's working that way, imagine us being able to hook in without all of these manipulations, distractions, and routers outside of us. That's what we are able to really truly do when we can get in that Zen place. This is how the monks levitate things, set things on fire very easily because they have that time and space to be in that energetic field fully. But this is what they're doing. They can do this within 3 minutes. They can make you experience 30 years worth of sentencing.
It's just
So
like downloads. Same thing. The download is real fast and it is so packed with information.
They are
someone I
becoming
saw,
like God.
I think it was Nino saying that, the Catholic Church, I guess the Pope is doing the
Opening the
opening
gates.
of the gates
Yeah.
today. That's taking
Yeah.
place as we apparently the Vatican and if you
You
go
know
back
what
on
I
my
keep seeing with this, Wayne? Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. Thou shall not pass. Okay. Just saying. Just saying.
you know, so the people and I've done this. If you go back and see my series on Lucifer, so tonight, which I think is about 6 p.m. here, which is about midnight in Rome. This is the saying of the Black Mass. This is when the invocation to Lucifer is given once a year in the church, and that invocation is correlating again with the opening of the doors that have been sealed. And I can't help but not see with everything that's going on in the world right now, there's something afoot. And next week I'd like us probably get a kind of a look into 2025. I mean, 2025 is the year of fulfillment for the Deagle report. If the Deagle report had any foundation of truth, and we're going to start seeing that. But I think something else is going on, and I want to introduce this. So there was an article that came out on the mainstream press that I don't know how many of you, excuse me one second as I get this pulled up, are aware of this. But so Max Vision, we all know, I'm going to get Max back on here because I think this is so freaking relevant. We
Isn't
know that,
Max brilliant?
oh, he is a priceless jewel amongst the
Yes.
many treasures that we have here. So
That's a
this is
oh, it's wonderful.
the CI document on the Project Stargate. And this was the remote viewing that was done by the individuals. And just to let everyone know, so what they were given on the method of site acquisition, and what I'm getting leading into is that now it's breaking and it's coming out into much more the mainstream press, is that apparently there were, in fact, life on Mars. Uh, Something happened apparently about 1 million years ago. We know that the pyramids that are all over Mars are replicated here on Earth, and it would appear that we are, in fact, potentially Martians. We were never Earths to begin with. Anyway, the document, if you, and I'll share this with anyone, but it's very quick. So they were given a sealed envelope and was given to the subject immediately prior to the interview. The envelope was not opened until after the interview. In the envelope, there was a 3x5 card with the following information: planet Mars, time of interest approximately 1 million years BC. Selected geographic coordinates provided by the parties requesting information were verbally given to the subject during the interview, and these are the coordinates that were recorded. And so on Monday, this is what happened. So they got into this, and I won't go into all of it, probably will on Thursday. But the bottom line of it is this, is that we know that these beings were tall, apparently 12 to 15 feet tall. They walked in valleys and in caverns of where there were pyramids everywhere, and something happened on the planet Mars that, who knows, was it God? Was it an attack from another species? But apparently they tried to find refuge here. And this is why some are saying we don't have memories of our beginnings. And so we make it up with the Bible of Adam and Eve and the Sumerians and all of this, which is all bullshit. That is not how we started. We were actually, if anything, genetically placed here by our ancestors who apparently did, in fact, live on Mars. So my point to all this, ladies, as I get out of here, is so by the admission of whether you want to believe the CIA again, I don't care. This fact that this has been validated back in 1984 with remote viewing. And now we know that the remote viewing is the #1 spy organization of Russia, China, United States. This is what we're doing. In fact, I could say AI is remote viewing in a digital reality.
They
So
said Google just tapped into the multiverse through the
I have
quantum
no doubt.
computer. Yeah, they
My
just
point is
announced it
this:
publicly. Yeah.
do you ladies, because we're all empaths and intuitives here, and I'm talking to the chat room as well, are you sensing? I sense that we're not. The dreams I've been having lately have been really weird, and I'll share one with you. I literally freaking traveled back to Highlands Ranch in our old house.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lynn woke me up, and it was like this. She said it was almost as if someone hit me with
a truck.
yeah. It was this one was so electric. It freaked my mind out when I came back in. My point is, has something happened to space? Has something happened in the fabric of reality? Are we becoming so immersed and pulled into this? And is this an effect that maybe took place 1 million years ago? What are y'all sensing?
I think it's organic to all we've always been. We're just now waking it up.
So you don't.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I guess what I'm asking is anyone sensing, go ahead, Jenny. Is anyone sensing? See, I don't think the space time is the same. I mean, I've had a difficult
no,
time for the
it's
last
not.
couple of days.
Time
I,
is different. And I've been saying it for months. Time is different. It's not matching, it never matched up with the 7 days and the 365, but we could manage it. Now there is such a disparity between the 7 days a week, what you have to get to done and when in it, and the 365 of all of the days in the 12 months don't make any sense at all that is applicable. People are struggling to find that time, but it's not that they're struggling to do things, it's when they're still trying to stay in the old paradigm of the 7 day week calendar. And but time has shifted, and I think it's getting harder and harder for them to admit to cover that up, to keep saying, oh, just work harder, oh, be at work on time, oh, do the I think it's getting harder and harder for them to cover that up. But one thing I think we have shifted in the skies, spoken before about us seeing new constellations, and actually us bearing birth to new constellations and then bearing birth to us simultaneously with the same dust that is around us and within us. But there's going to be new things in the skies, and I honestly think the skies are getting lit up deliberately a lot right now to cover up what's already been seen in the skies, and also new constellations. I really do. I think a lot of these light shows we'll find are imperfect points of Earth where we could see these new constellations very clearly if it weren't for the weird clouds that were over it, or the weird lights flying around underneath it so you can't see past it. There's a lot of distraction not allowing us to read the stars like the ancients did, to see a changing, to see a turning of the cycle, of the tide. But so time has shifted. When you were reading that paper, one thing that came through really strong to me is it was just a spiritual question, but it was pointed in that what if it was the men that came from Mars? What
yeah.
if something happened with the females on Mars? And there's always grains of truth in the stories that they tell, otherwise they wouldn't resonate with us. These are the fallen angels. These are the ones that slightly differentiated DNA could still mix with the females that were here, that were still not barren, maybe. But that's, as you were talking, that's what was flooding in for me. And that joke, men are from Mars and women are from Venus.
Yeah.
It's not to say that that's the entirety of the story and that's what happened. Lots of things are happening all the time. There are different people here with totally different backgrounds and skins walking
Mhm.
the same walk and different walks. But a big part of the scale, I really felt that it was, what if it was just males that came down from Mars to mix here? That would be a huge secret to keep.
And think
You
about
know,
this to build on that. I've studied this. I hadn't thought about this before. So the alien intrusion, they're not fallen angels, but let's just say the intrusion that took place, they bonded with the female DNA, not the male. None of these angels, do we read in the Bible or any other scriptures, did they have sex with men? It was the intercourse with women. So again, the female being separated out began to absorb a new alien DNA, which changed humanity itself.
Absolutely. That's what I felt so strongly as you were reading the
Yeah.
start of that paper. It came through so strong for me. It's not something I've considered. I've felt different, themes coming to me spiritually. But as you were reading that paper, that's what very strongly came through to me of what if they were all men? And it was a pointed question, almost like, consider
And
it.
in every prophecy, in every book, whether it's the Bible, whether it's the Talmud, whatever it is, there's a time limit on everything. And I can't help but get this feeling, because I'm telling you, I just saw that Mary Wins and some other were talking the same feeling. I'm walking around and I'm feeling like I'm in two different dimensions at the same time. Does that make sense? I
Yeah,
mean, and
yes.
and, and the weeks are no longer weeks to me. The weeks are like days.
4 days.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 You know what? It keeps coming into my consciousness. Okay, as we're exploring the possibilities of, life on Mars and all of these different things and the new system of the stars that we're entering into with the switch of the age into Aquarius. Okay, as we are starting to understand that this is a potential holographic projection, reality is through our eyes. So
Mhm.
if you're really conceptualizing that, and as above, so below, as within, so without, you have to understand this new information that you're seeing and seeking is all coming from the inside of you. It's coming from within. We are connecting to new stars. We are connecting to a new age, a new logos, solar logos, which is new light, new information that activates the body. It activates the DNA, and it
Could the
activates
activation
memory.
of the strand of DNA, could that affect space-time?
Yes,
Of course,
because
but
every
the
one of
woman's
your chakras exists on a different dimension. So
yes,
yes, and how you feel like timelines are collapsing, that's because we're blending also realms. The realms are merging. We are merging where it feels like
and
things are collapsing, and that will
yeah.
bring forth the memory of what was forgotten. And that's
And
through
at
this
certain
merging.
points, like you say, Trina, cultures we know have collapsed. All of a sudden, we can't
Yes.
find a living soul from that culture. It's probably that, enough DNA has been mixed from that, interception. And then all of a sudden, there's not enough of the old DNA from that culture that we now know to have collapsed, just disappeared. We don't know why, not really. They've just gone, and all we see are the statues that they've left and the monuments that they've left and the information that we can gather. But for all intents purposes, they're just gone. In our reality, I do feel you're right, Wayne and Trina, that enough of that DNA strand keeps twisting down and down and down. Eventually, you only have trace elements of what came beforehand. So, in certain cases, I do believe that's why the gods that want to be gods and be all powerful in this physical realm right now
Mhm.
are always historically so obsessed with color of skin and how they can make it so that there's more of one and not the others. They're all obsessed with this. And it's because I do feel they know the Holy Grail is the DNA strand. It is in the plasma, it is in the blood. And if they can literally make history really, truly collapse to all intents purposes because it's
Hmm.
disappeared from our strands.
Hmm. Yeah.
Wow, thank you for helping on that, because I am convinced somehow or another, and I don't know. Sometimes my wife has to she asks me what dimension are you in, and
Right.
because
All of
Well,
them.
the DNA is multidimensional, Wayne, and you're activating more DNA. And through that, you're merging into new time-space dimensional existences through
and so
your
what if this is
awareness.
happening to a lot of us, even
It
those that may
is.
not even be
It
aware
is.
of it?
I think it is. I
We're
really do.
facilitating a change.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it gets really, like I said before, that experience I had. I was back in Highlands Ranch. I was in the house, and I knew that I didn't belong in there. I
Mhm.
had this freaking, it was almost a paranoid feeling, like, I'm breaking the law being in this house that I don't belong to anymore. And then this zap hits me, and I'm back in our bed, with my wife looking at me like, what is wrong with you? And I told her, I said, honey, got to give me, I told you have to give me a second here. Where am I? And that's what I was trying to tell her. And I started crying almost, because it's like that. And it was, I'm getting tied for words because I'm trying to express I was physically in that house, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
the furniture was not ours. I mean, I knew I shouldn't be in there anyway.
That's what brought
This
you
is
back
why
to
I
your
think
body. That's what did it. Was that emotional spiral is what launched you straight back to your body because you sensed you weren't supposed to be there. That will bring you straight back to your body like a lightning rod. That's what happened. So no, it's okay when that happens.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, did I do that? Or was that my own soul or, higher self protecting me? But that's what that is, Wayne. As soon as you run into, oh shit, I'm not supposed to be here. Boom, it
And then
pops
it
me
wasn't
right
astral
back in my
traveling
body
or
too.
projecting. No, I was physically there. I mean, I don't know how to keep saying it. I was and I was afraid that someone was going to turn on the light and see me in their house. And, that was just what was it was so real. That's all I gotta say. It was like
Yeah,
so
that
real.
you were out of your
Yeah.
body because obviously your
Yeah.
physical body was still in bed with Lynn, but you were there with your out of body and your astral body, and it is more real than the physical body sometimes.
Ain't that the
So
truth,
I
sister?
get it.
Well,
Yeah, I get
just
it.
strong, you would be seeing it is a
Yeah.
balance because if you wanting to sneak around. I know this from some sneaking around I've done that I've then had to pull away from. I mean, astrally, intuitively, because there's a balance to how much, like Trina says, how much of that cord, what voltage for what mission you decide to feed it.
Yes.
Because if you feed it too much, then you will be seen by another person. You won't be
Mhm.
the invisible observer, just like a hologram almost, very physically there in every sense. But you feed it too much voltage and you would be seen by another person, just like you feared. So you brought that back. But I keep hearing you never wake a sleeping dog. And my family would laugh because every time I get woken up instead of waking up, I'm literally like, where am I? What am I doing? Because I've been somewhere and it takes me a minute to figure out
Yeah.
what's happening. Is everything
What
okay
day is
here?
it?
Are we
Right.
cool? Do I know me? What did I
And
do? What did I
I'll
say?
be
Until I became conscious.
and I'll confess right now. I mean, ever since that experience the other night, I've had a difficult time adjusting that, I'm in this current reality. It's difficult because, like I said, I was at the store earlier and I had to stop and I'm just saying, what's going on here? I mean, I'm experiencing two different slightly versions of the same reality, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, because you are multidimensional. You're existing on multiple planes at the same time, but you don't have awareness of it. You're literally tapping into the multidimensional aspects of yourself, which are all operating through the ladder of the DNA.
And may
Because
I
that's
say it's
the antenna.
disconcerting at times?
Yeah, dude, totally. It's a
Yeah.
little
I
freaky.
mean, I'll just admit to it. It's fucking weird. It
Yes,
feels weird.
So
it's shocking. It's
My
shocking.
body is still feeling, and it's just like, but it's my soul, the mind that it's really impacting because it's like, I don't know. It's like I'm having
So what
this.
would be great, Wayne, for you right now is to stick something white over your eyes, like a white face cloth or towel, something very white, folded over so there's no light that can get through it. Put that around your eyes, and with those that exact headset, with it being over the ear headsets, it'll feed into each ear. And I would look up brain hemisphere balancing frequencies, but listen to them while your eyes are whited out. Allow yourself to close your eyes if you want to, and open them sometimes, close them, open them sometimes, then keep them closed. And then it'll help you feel that balance again after doing that kind
Could
of
this
jump, because
be?
it's like a quantum leap.
Yeah. So I've been
Mhm.
using the opening the third eye thing. I've been doing this, and I just saw
That's why
Rick
you're
write
jumping.
something. Is this an effect of that?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's why you're jumping more.
yes.
Of course it is.
Yes, you hit a
So
new
then,
vibration. That's all it
yeah.
is. It's a
Yeah.
vibrational exchange.
Yeah.
You've raised your consciousness to a new level of potential through your vibration, which allowed you access to another dimension. And now you can consciously have access and remember both of them. This is what ascension truly looks like, Wayne. This is it. You're
I can
doing
tell
it.
you, it's
And
it's it's very unsettling at times. I hadn't thought about the third
Mhm.
eye. Why did I not even think about that? I mean, because I had those.
because you live in your life, and if you think about the first time you had real spiritual raucous laughter, or the first time I keep hearing that you felt your whole body shake almost orgasmically when you were lifted in spirit in the churches, how odd it felt, how you at first you looked around as if I done something rude or really sexually expressive here because it feels great, that you've done the same thing. And like Trina says, you learn new ways then to calm that third eye in between those quantum jumps. The towel and the hemi-sync, thank you, somebody in the chat said, is really powerful for that. So it's just like when you were in the church and you learned how to maybe smoke some herbs to clear the air, you learned how to be at peace with self for a moment, you learned how to um, be okay with that orgasmic spiritual feeling that as you went up the ranks, you kept feeling these different things. When you felt that healing coming out of your hands, how odd it felt at first, but then you got so used to it, it's second nature. But you did have to learn ways of self-rejuvenation after doing long sessions of healing for people. Like Trina absolutely knows better than anybody with her field of work. So you're just learning now because you've spoken out loud, you're learning different techniques then to do what you've always done. So it is disconcerting. It's not to take away from what you're saying, Wayne, but it is to give you peace of mind also that you've done this over and over and over again because you just keep evolving,
You just don't
developing more to
remember.
self.
Yeah,
That's
you do it
a
every
pretty
night
Wonderful.
as you
shocking
sleep.
experience to tell
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
It's like,
Yeah.
Yes.
geez.
And that's because you got brought back into your body with a slam. And literally
That freaked me
emotions.
out. I mean,
Yeah. Emotions do that, Wayne. If you ever feel
Yeah.
like, uh-oh, I'm not supposed to be here, because that happened to me. One time I was just all of a sudden in the freaking palace in Europe well, I was like, what am I doing here? And they noticed I was there and I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. It launched me, just like you said, that shock. It landed in my body, like, couldn't breathe. I mean, it was terrible, but it was because I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. I didn't even know why I was there. I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. Boom, it launched me back in my body. But it
And
felt more
I had,
real there than it felt when I got back into my body. That's
yeah,
what I mean. It feels almost more real than your material reality, which is profound, but that's true.
in my spirit, I was trying to absorb all this, and I had
Mhm.
this moment where I could have been really paranoid, or I could merely accept it and understand that this was something that I hadn't experienced. I can't remember a shock like that. I just being candid with you. I mean,
I
it
think you've put
was,
your body into stasis, and that's a thing
Yes.
that we can do too. I think instead of you projecting yourself while keeping quite a strong voltage in the body, you've self-activated with that third eye. You've gone into that deep sleep mode, and that DMT naturally has started flowing because of the work you've done on the third eye. You've actually done it without intention. And so often in that case, in my experience, the body's in stasis. So it's tantamount to me then getting the paddles in the hospital and saying, jump,
that's kind of like what it felt
clear.
Yes.
like, someone put the
Yeah,
freaking
because
paddles
you've
on me.
come
It's
back
like,
into an
damn,
empty
what happened?
Well,
yeah,
they say the ultimate way to get out of the body into full force is when you actually go into sleep paralysis. And that's why we do
yes.
that. And
I'm glad
literally,
we're
yeah,
talking about this because
you get
as we're going to get,
jerked.
if we do this as a group, and all I've been doing is just saying the state that what was said, um, because I don't, my concern is that if you're not prepared for this, which I wasn't, it it it's startling, and
It messes with
it
you.
does,
Yeah.
it fucks with your head. I mean, it really. I've been stoned, and not like this. This was
Wait,
weird. I mean,
remember
it's
I told you the organic experiences that I've had have been far superior to anything I could
Oh,
experience chemically.
yes.
There is no
yeah.
contest. No
Mm,
contest. They can't even
mm-mm.
measure. So with that, I'm glad you experienced that because now you kind of know what I'm talking about. It's like, man, that'll shake you for days. It will.
Yeah,
It
it
rattles
did,
you.
and it did,
It does.
and
Yeah.
and that at the feeling that I was in there were people living in our old house. I mean, and I was in my office looking into the bathroom that was across there, and they had painted it gold. And I'm thinking, and I said to myself, I don't belong here. Why am I here? And
Boom.
you know, boom.
I wonder if there's a little girl in that house now that you could
Whoa,
give
whoa, whoa,
some
whoa. Now,
peace
now
to.
you're freaking me out, Jenny, because one part I didn't say anything about
I
there
keep
was
seeing
a
a
little
little
girl
girl.
that was in the
Yeah,
house.
yeah. I keep seeing a little girl, and I know you're
And
saying
she
whoa,
was
whoa, whoa,
looked
but
up
I know
at
you
me.
could.
Oh
Yeah, she
shit.
saw you,
He
and I
saw
think
you.
she was
Yeah.
Yeah.
supposed to.
Yeah.
I think she was supposed to, and I think that
I think
there's a lot that you could meditate on to send to leave in places in that house for that little girl that is having a bit of trouble right now, acclimating not just to the house but to her environment at school or
school.
I've had
preschool.
time to think
You
about
know,
this because as a magician working in calling law of the spirits, I left a heavy energy to that house. It
and I
didn't come.
Yeah.
think she's pulled. I think she's
It's
pulled on it.
yeah. How interesting. That's what I love about this group.
Wayne, you know what I just heard? The many portals that were opened when you were doing your work need to be now shut and closed, and you need to put in a divine protection around this child so that way she is not influenced by any of these energies that she knows not what they are.
Yeah.
So, time
Mm.
to do that.
I
Time to
don't
do
think
that.
she can be in that house, though. I think you are in that house so much that
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's the only place she feels safe. It's the environment that surrounds the house, I feel, that is hard for her, whether that's school or the playground or the local meet up place. I don't know. But that it feels like that house is the safe place, and she pulled on the safest energy she could think of and or feel, and that was you. And so it takes the freaky out of it a little bit when you realize that when
Wayne,
children are so innocent and connected, they just pull on you. The magic is there. She is a magician as much as you. She just hasn't
Mm.
forgotten it yet.
what room
You
is she
know?
in, Wayne?
She was in was my old office was her bedroom.
Yeah. And
Okay.
she's meant to be
Yeah.
there.
Okay. But she
Yeah.
wasn't in the room where the Lilith energy was?
No, mm-mm,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no. This was
Okay.
downstairs.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
wonderful. Okay,
yeah.
she's in your office. No, there's going to
Yeah.
be a good frequency in that. That's beautiful. Yeah, but I do think she's like Jenny says a wizard, and she's very sensitive, and she's very aware of things. So make sure and clean and clear and protect her because she's little.
Well, we said, and I think that maybe I may have appeared as a ghost to her,
Or an angel because she
one
felt
of the
your
two. Yeah,
oh well, you know what, you felt you weren't supposed to be there, so it might have not been a good thing because she'll feel what you're feeling, and you were like, I'm not supposed to be here, so that's what she might have picked up on. Like I said, I would go and try to do some corrective balancing
Mm,
loving healing measures
mm.
to balance that out and clear the space and close anything down that needs to be so she's in a very protective safe bubble.
Yeah, I closed most of I said I closed most of the portals that I've opened, but obviously
Mhm.
there was something and like I said, that this only happened 2 days ago, and wow,
Wayne, you've
just
got a
so
strong
freaking
energy, buddy. I mean, you had
man,
the rainbows coming in there and the feathers all over
jeez.
your yard. And we could go on and on and on about the powerful energies that were experienced there.
Well,
So,
it was in while we
yeah.
were in Highlands Ranch, remember the day vision with the serpent that came in.
Yes, the golden serpent with
The
the
golden
rainbows.
serpent,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, and, and the feathers, the
Yeah.
feathers. Oh
The
my
oh,
God.
y'all
I don't
remember that? I mean, I showed her the video. The freaking feathers were everywhere. I
Yes,
mean,
we brought in
yeah,
the rain. I
yeah,
mean, there
yeah.
was a lot going on, a lot of learning, a
Mm,
lot of learning. Learning is what we're learning. There was a lot of learning happening. So, like I said, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, powerful
Looks like
energies
we
there.
lost Jenny, but
Oh, did we? Darn it.
yeah, I saw her froze up. We're covering some spaces here, folks, that man, Trina, we got to get more into this because
It's real, Wayne. I've been
It's
dealing with this
happening.
kid since I was little, and it was so hard. I had no one to talk to and nowhere to
Yeah.
go, and it was rough,
I mean, this
really
isn't
rough.
something you can call up your friend next door and say,
No,
I had this, it was in my old house and I was
I
staying
couldn't
in
even tell
it.
my parents. I couldn't even
Yeah.
tell my mom. I couldn't tell my brother and sister. Certain things I could share with them, especially if they saw it too, because you could
Mm,
see by the shock in their face. You knew if they knew. So I could do
mm.
that, but I had to, stay in my lane otherwise, because my mom knew I could see stuff, and yeah, it was rough. It was rough,
And I'll just
really
be
rough.
why I need this group and why we need each other. Because, you know, for many, when you hear and you read things about, the third eye, opening your third eye, that there's this power and that thing, for the most of us, it's
Oh, for sure.
intangible. We
Wait, I just saw the dollar bill with the all-seeing eye on it, and I heard, yep, he just got a taste of true currency.
Woof.
Current.
Wow, a
Currency.
currency. I
Your
get that.
currency. They just
Yeah.
showed you the power of your currency. Boom.
Oh, mm.
Boom.
Thank you, Chloe.
Thank you,
People,
Chloe. People.
yeah, I see Jenny's back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I
what I
just
was
got
trying to
well.
say was that the experience, folks, is real, and I want this group. I
Yeah.
want you all to experience what I've experienced, and I want to experience what you're doing because this is the first tangible sign. I mean, it's like panning for gold somewhere, and you first time and you actually see the first little gold flakes. You go, there really is gold in the earth, you know? Like, holy shit, this works.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here, I feel like a novice. I am a novice. I am because this freaked me out. It didn't freak me. Yeah, it did freak me out because it was a
That's
freaking
okay.
weird
That's
experience.
okay to say no. You know,
Yeah.
like when women have babies and they're
Mhm.
not surrounded by mothers or sisters that have been there before, they're not told the freaky things about what's going to happen to their body or what's going to happen to their baby's body in the first 3 days. And I'll never be more grateful than a lady actually from the church who was very sweet and lovely and kept in touch with the family. When I was pregnant with Rosie, and obviously she was premature, gave birth. She came to visit because she worked in the medical library for the university for the doctors and whatnot. She came over and she said in a very posh tone, she said, "I just need to visit to tell you that on the third day, expect black feces. Nobody told me this, and I thought my baby was going to die." And then she just left because she felt that that was the most disturbing experience that she ever had known about, that this child could, have something black come out of it, which is quite normal on the third day. And Trina will know this, but nobody had told us. Like you, I could tell that had freaked her out so much. I'd already had my aunties tell me and my mom, but it had freaked her out so much that, like you, she just felt it important to open up the conversation to never leave another mother like that again, specifically a first-time mother. So these chats are really, I love tonight, and I love what you've brought up, and I love what Trina said and what people in the chat have said. What a great
We love you,
winter.
Jenny.
Yeah, because it's opened up the chat and people have just been able to have their input, and you've had no ego about it, Wayne. So because of that, we've been able to have that input and you've had that dialogue with us. And because of that, people now know about their third day when the quantum leap, that it's okay to feel that shock is there and it's okay to feel freaked out about it.
And
And it's
and
okay
when
to
you
say
know
so.
too, when you can see the built-in protection, as soon as you felt you weren't where you're supposed to be, you get launched straight back to your body. So understand that's the power of your own protection. And then when these things happen, we can we'll start to learn. And that's what I've had to learn. Had to learn my emotional response to things that were unsettling or shocking. stuff like that. And like Wayne always says, learn to laugh. Just when something happens, it's so hard not to fight or flight. Stand strong in your awareness and say, what is this? Get curious. You know what I mean? And if you can learn to do that, then you can have a little bit more control over what happens. But sometimes, like you said, things catch you off guard, and it's just like, whoa, I'm not
No.
supposed to be here. Boom, you are slammed back in the body. But know that that's safe. That's keeping you safe. So it's a gift. So
This whole
Yes.
show has been a gift, I have to say. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, it's just
Mhm.
I there is something special of this group, and there's a core group to this group. And I don't think I would be here on as further this journey if it wasn't for you, Trina, it wasn't for you, Jenny, and if it wasn't for Gaia and all the other people in here that I can see.
We feel the
Um,
same. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
Yeah.
and there's a humbleness to this because there's a vulnerability to open yourself up like this in a manner where you don't have any, safety net. You're laying it out there for what it is. It's raw, it's honest, and it's open.
Yes. And we know we're learning, and we
Yeah.
know none of us know the truth of
Yeah.
any of it because it's too big. But as we start to awaken and remember through our light, through the
Yeah.
activation of the DNA, the light, it will bring in more information, more gnosis, and we will expand and grow from that.
Mm. Well, ladies, I can't think of a better way for a Christmas Eve. This is, and I look at this, there is a Christ consciousness within this conversation because this is something that is eternal. There's something that it transcends religion, opinions, ideas. It's a
Yes.
current. Yeah, and Trina, you said
Yes.
it as you said, there's an opening of this third eye manifestation, and it's a strange currency.
Yes.
It is. It's a very different type of current,
It's a
different
new
type of energy.
vibration. It's a new vibration that you can only access through the power of activating the third eye, which activates and vibrates the spine, which opens up the new portals, which are associated to the chakra systems. You can travel the dimensional ladders if you go to the different chakra wheels of the body. Those are the black holes. That's pop you in and
It
out of
was a
dimensions.
Kundalini experience, I will say this. It was
Yes,
shocking.
yes,
It
yes,
was
yes,
And
yes.
that's, you can never chase the dragon of
hell
spiritual
no.
experience because you chase the dragon for that best hit, that first hit of anything, don't you? And you never get it. Why? Because your body becomes more aligned to the frequencies that were used in that blueprint, in that pattern, and it has muscle memory, it has membrane memory, it has plasma memory, it has all these layers of memory of input. So you can chase the dragon. Kundalini is great and it's wonderful, but you can also always tell when somebody's just experienced it for the first time because they're chasing it. And sometimes you can chase it too much and you forget other things because it's not that you're not getting to that point. You're actually probably getting beyond the first Kundalini points. It's just that your body's more attuned to the process. So your
Jenny, I'm
head
trying
on
to figure out when I got on top of the freaking dragon to begin with. I wasn't even,
the right thing,
like,
chasing it.
jeez.
Well,
Constantly.
that's the funny part. See, when you look at that too, when did I get in on top of the dragon? Oh no, you've always been riding it. You just
It's
didn't
like,
know. It's your
jeez.
spine. It's your
Yeah.
spine.
Mm.
That's what that is.
In my mind right now, I'm seeing this golden dragon and she's just grinning. She got this
Laughing.
grin. Yeah,
Yeah, just loving you.
she says, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Well,
awesome.
ladies, I love y'all. Next week we're
We
going to
love
do
you.
our end of the year show, and I really like to explore this more with you too because there is, and I'll be candid with you, there is a sense of safety within the constraints of the group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we love each other and we know we're
Yeah,
learning and growing
yeah,
together.
yeah,
And we're
yeah,
just here to support each other through our processes.
I'd
yeah.
love people at this time with the energies that we are experiencing and the build-up and the magnetic spheres changing, the magnetic force is changing, the plates on the earth, there's a magnetic force that's switching. You can feel it, when you're walking on the ground. But I would love it if people check out on your show when we did the Conscious Observer and see where they get with these 17 seconds broken up into
Mhm.
4, because it's been really working for me. That algorithm, that mathematics has been really working for my brain. So if they go back and check that out, that would be super interesting to see next week what they were observing for those 17 seconds. They don't have to say what, just that they were observing something and what kind of
Mhm.
effects they felt and ultimately had. Because I feel that it's just a real time of energetic harvest for those that aren't going to allow themselves to be stressed, exhausted, angry, dissatisfied because they're told to, because they haven't lived up to marketing magic, but to really go into the magic right now. The cauldron is lit energetically right now. If you want to jump in and join me, it is
Yes.
hot, it's bubbling, it's ready for people to put their seasoning into it. And this group is so powerful. If we were building a conscious seasoning pot where it's all our own tastes and seasons going in, I mean, what an energetic elixir that would be. But it would be really cool to see where people get in that week period of the 17 seconds,
You know
four
what I
times
just
apart.
was, you know what they just showed me? They said if everybody in this group would focus on all of their moments of epiphany, awakening, all their baby steps that got them to where they are, all the experiences, all of that, that's all 5-dimensional and above experiences. And they were showing me that that's a really good way to help us get onto the right timeline, is to keep seeing more and more of what you've already experienced and see new and different and all these potentials of you for what you want for you expressing now, because this will really help us to get on the timeline we want to be on.
That
Thank
would
you
be
on that.
beautiful.
Monkey
That would be
Experience
beautiful.
said that Morpheus said the matrix can't be explained. It can only be experienced. And I
Yes,
think
Praise
that's
because
Lord.
it's just light and it's
this is what's
code.
happening here. We're not talking anymore. We're actually doing.
Doing. Like
Yes.
Theo said, go and see yourself in third person. And he said that since he
Mhm.
was 3. I'm looking at myself in third person when when he didn't want to be accountable for something. It's like he did that whole common law thing from about being 3 to say, well, it wasn't me that did it. It was him standing there. I'm looking at myself in third person. He wasn't blaming anyone else. He was just blaming his body.
Yeah.
He was already
No,
claiming
that's
that
just
I'm
the human part of me,
actually
Mom. Sorry,
right.
it acts out
Sorry,
sometimes.
I mean, sometimes it just has, it just goes off on its own and does things. I'm free. I agree with you. It was wrong. Hands up that you're wrong. He would do that. He would point at himself in the mirror and say,
That's
"You're wrong.
amazing.
That was
He's
bad. That
already
was no."
aware of the observer in him already. That's so powerful. See, and
That
he'll
and
never forget it, Jenny, because you
he does.
understand it. And you will
Yeah,
always keep that anchored with him because you support it. That's such a
yeah,
great thing. Parents support your children with all their exploration of their own beautiful selves.
Mm.
yeah. 100%.
Theo has a great mission because you think about the fact that you ushering him to this realm. I mean, and now the environment, that child shall grow up to do many great things. I have no doubt.
You know what I
No
keep
doubt.
seeing too? I keep been shown the show. They keep showing me the ice is melting, which is going to be the freedom of the balancing of our brain. So there's something very big that's happening with our planetary mind as well as our conscious mind. And it's part of this melting of the ice. And we will no longer be frozen in our old patterns. And the heating up is making an increase in the vibration. And that's giving us access to parts of our wisdom inside of us that we didn't have access to before. So get ready, guys. This is going to be fun.
And Trina, the minerals that you're speaking of that are leaking and melting, that's the whole Norse story, of the big cow that licked the ice to create creation. And as she licked it, the minerals was seeped into the soil. As you were talking there, I could see the big sacred cow that Indians know of. She's just anybody that is talking about this cow that licked the ice to melt it, to create creation. And it was because the minerals were melting and going into the soil and connecting with other minerals and so on and so forth. And if you think about what we spoke about DNA earlier, there's ancient DNA in that ice that has
Yes.
been in homeostasis, frozen perfectly in time, that has not been experienced or been mixed with this present realm as it is now in the minerals. We're going to see some fantastic beasts from that ice that we already have. It's just covered up. But we're going to see some fantastic beasts, but also some adaptations to our sea life. We're going to start seeing fish doing things that previously they weren't thought to do, or different species of fish, let's say. So those minerals leaking into the ocean is very powerful, what you've just said.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the power of the
Well,
divine feminine getting woken back up from her long sleep. So this is going to be amazing because this is going to, this is what this is. Yeah.
I love you too. Love this
Love
audience.
you.
We just speak
You
happy
too.
holidays to you,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
what a present. I just have to say, you two ladies and the folks in the chat room, it's a gift that you can't, it's not made with human hands. This is, made from divine celestial energies. And thank you all.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And please give Jenny, to Theo, and to all the others, the children, that we send love to them, and
Thank you.
we
An abundance of it will be arriving.
and we love you, Trina, you and all
I
your
love
children,
you.
family
Trina.
too, and
I love you both so much.
So next Tuesday, it'll be New Year's Eve, and Jenny, it'll be closer a year into the new year. So let's just have a little fun. Maybe just look into the future. I'd like to talk some more about this third eye. This has really gotten me.
Could do some tarot.
Yeah.
We could do some experimentation. Okay, I've got ideas. I'm gonna email because
Okay.
we could actually put that white blindfold on you, and maybe channel into you, Trina and I, and you could speak out what you see.
I'll be willing to do that.
Yeah.
That would be very interesting to
Okay.
see.
Okay.
It's just, like being
Why
an
not?
avatar.
It's our platform. It's our little get together. We can do what and listen, I don't have a problem with experimentation,
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
that way, I just think you're getting the intuitive energies and love and protection of your two, shield maidens, so to speak. And also, you are very good at going into meditation, Wayne, and you're very good at holding space and time. So you would be a really great conduit. So it means all three of us are participating in something.
Let's
The
do
people
that.
here in the chat are participating, and you could bring through some real divine guidance for 2025, both good and bad, and fixings, examples of what we need to do to fix or adapt or change. I just feel like there would be a
And
lot
to
coming through you with that.
integrate
Yeah.
these new vibrations and new light. They keep showing me that's the most important part, is try to receive, integrate, experience,
Yeah.
and anchor the new light. Just like Wayne, he got kicked up in vibration through that experience, and all that was probably divinely ordered by his higher consciousness, so he would experience the currency.
Just wait till I talk to my higher consciousness. I got a few words for myself.
I've got some words to say.
What the hell were you doing? What are you thinking? But
Showing you
anyway.
what you forgot.
It's like, geez, you could have at least sent a freaking memo or something,
That
Just
was
gonna
the
point
memo.
to that little girl. Your spirit's
You
just
just
gonna point to
dropped
that
it on me
girl.
like that, I
They're
guess that's
saying
when you
that
know
was
it's
the memo.
authentic.
And
It's
they're
like,
saying that was one of the easiest routes we were going to take with you.
geez. Like,
So yeah. Oh, that's
whoa.
funny.
No one told. I didn't get the memo. I'm like the last guy on the deal team.
You sound like Theo, though, don't you? Doesn't he, Trina? You
Yeah.
sound like Theo in the third person saying, I didn't do it. It wasn't
Right?
me.
Hey.
Yes, that
Right.
was me. Yes, I really was there, but that was not me.
Right, but it was
to do with
right.
this,
that
folks.
was.
Nope. It's that other higher conscious. Go talk to him.
Yeah, you sound like Theo.
Go
That's
talk
so
to
cool.
self.
Yeah, yeah.
Go talk to
Uh,
self.
well, ladies, much love to y'all, and have yourself just a really blessed holiday, and favor be amongst you all. And next week, let's do this. I think that'll be fun. And if you know, I think that we could really have a good little party here. Yeah.
Yeah. Much love, Soul Tribe. Mwah.
Soul Tribe, absolutely. All of
Yeah.
you, thank you all. We
Much
just
love.
speak favor over all of you. And, you know, Merry Christmas is a thing that, you know, we don't let a religion take that. What we're just saying is that we like the idea of a Christ consciousness. It's a higher vibration. It's a better place to be. And all it takes is you and me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's all I got to say.
Yes.
All right, everybody. We love you. I didn't get to say everyone out in the chat room, but we know who you are. We love you very much. And well, we'll see each other on Thursday, but next Tuesday, circle it.
Okay.
This will be a fun show to do.
Yeah.
For science.
For science. I like that.
Yes,
It's for
research.
science. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Research.
okay.
All right,
Do
everybody.
some R&D.
Exactly. So we love you, and we'll see y'all next Tuesday for sure.